Coming up on the Charge on Air. Government shutdown hits week 2 as federal services stall and UCF students begin to feel the impact.
And for essential workers like UCF alumni at TSA, the shutdown means showing up unpaid and making tough choices just to get by.
Florida weather may be cooling down, but for one UCF student, fall conditions bring painful eczema flare-ups that make everyday tasks unbearable.
In sports, the UCF women's volleyball team lost against 11th ranked TCU.
The Charge on Air starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to the Charge on Air. I'm Camila Escobar.
And I'm Nicolas Hernandez. Today is Friday, October 10th, 2025.
The government officially shut down last Wednesday, October 1st. Charge on Air reporter Ashley Reep tells us more on how the shutdown has impacted the UCF community.
It has been a week since the government has shut down. One of the reasons was a dispute between the extension of healthcare subsidies, specifically those regarding the Affordable Care Act. At UCF, certain departments on campus are already impacted by the shutdown. The Office of Military and Veteran Student Success Center, or MVSC, relies on call centers throughout the country to verify that a student is still actively enrolled in school. Students are required to call the Veteran Affairs GI Bill hotline each month to verify their enrollment to receive their GI Bill benefits, but this hotline is now closed due to the shutdown. Michael Kepner, director of MVSC, explains how this affects students in the department.
Now, when it comes to the pay and the benefits, the best part about it is the VA already had that covered. So students are still being paid, students are still receiving their benefits, the university is still receiving tuition. So all of the funding pieces of it are still in place.
At the Office of Student Financial Aid, all operations are relatively normal. Dr. Karima Campbell-Menzel, director of the Office of Student Financial Assistance, encourages students to make sure that their financial aid files are up to date for the next year.
So if there's anything that we need, you're going to get an email in regard to that. So monitoring your communications, monitoring your to-do list, and following up with all the things you need to do for financial aid would be the things I would encourage students to do right now.
Students don't have to worry about the disbursements of their financial aid right now. However, if the government shutdown continues for several months, this will increase the likelihood of an impact to the disbursement process in the future. So let's hope that's not the case for those finances.
Currently, the university is not facing any major concerns regarding the shutdown, but we will be sure to keep you updated. In Orlando, Ashley Reep, The Charge on Air.
The government shutdown has not only impacted the UCF community, but also federal workers across the country, such as those a part of air traffic control.
If you're packing for a trip, you might want to add patience to that list. Charge on Air reporter Casey Stone tells us how the government shutdown is affecting travel.
On October 1st, thousands of federal employees all over the country were furloughed after the government shut down. But despite the shutdown, employees working for agencies like the Transportation Security Administration are considered essential and must continue to show up to work unpaid. Tatiana Finley, a UCF alum and executive board member of the AFGE Local 556, is no stranger to government shutdowns, having worked 3 of them over the past 21 years as a TSO. But with an hour commute to Orlando International Airport, working without pay can mean having to choose between getting gas or paying the water bill.
You're having to do that mental math of, do I pay my mortgage? Do I pay my car note? It's really hard to be present doing your job when you do not know whether you're going to be able to feed your family next week.
TSA warns that longer lines are to be expected if the government shutdown continues. If agents can't afford to go to work, travelers can't afford to be late catching their flight. That is, if they still have one.
Like TSA employees, FAA workers, including air traffic controllers, are essential. But within the first 3 days of them working without pay, the U.S. saw over 14,000 flight delays and 210 cancellations. Staffing shortages have been reported all over the country, including in Burbank, where an air control tower was left unmanned for more than 5 hours on Monday evening, and in Nashville, where flight delays were averaging nearly 2 hours. Orlando, of course, is no exception, and Sandra Moore is feeling the effects firsthand.
I was supposed to leave around 3 p.m. and it's been an hour. Not much information has been provided about why.
As of October 10th, there are still no signs indicating when the government will reopen. In Orlando, Casey Stone, The Charge on Air.
Students flying out of the Orlando International Airport can go to flymco.com to check the status of their flight.
Republican Representative Kevin Steele filed Florida House Bill 113-2026 on October 7th. House Bill 113 would require the boards of trustees to redesignate specified roads to certain names relating to Charlie James Kirk. The bill says UCF would be designated Gemini Boulevard South as Charlie James Kirk Boulevard. State funds would be withheld from any state university whose board fails to comply. The bill will be considered during the legislative session scheduled in January 2026.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics recently revised the job market. Charge on Air reporter Skylar Williamson tells us more about this revision and what it means for soon-to-be graduates.
In September, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS, revised the unemployment rate to 4.3 nationwide. The BLS says the unemployment rate in Florida alone has risen 0.4% in the last year. William Steiger, the senior lecturer of marketing in the College of Business, says college students are having a harder time entering the job market. Steiger says students should choose wisely what they study while at UCF.
Well, I think students have to figure out what do they have that's transferable into the job market. Whatever skills they've learned, are they transferable? Can they find a job where that's important to the company? Because they only get hired for one of two reasons, either to make money or to save money.
Steiger says students can take classes or add minors that help them once they leave the university. In Florida, the unemployment rate in 2024 rested at 3.4. The Bureau says it now rests at 3.8 in 2025.
I'm outside of Intern Pursuit, where soon-to-be college graduates are looking to build their future. Experts say that the job market has significantly declined in the last couple of months, but opportunities like this give students a chance to get their foot in the door.
Jarrell Scatliff, senior clinical psychology major, says she plans to graduate at the end of this fall semester.
I am a little hesitant about the current job market and getting a job immediately after I graduate. I have been looking around, especially being a psychology major. The options for a bachelor's are pretty limited. So I am planning to go to grad school, but that's in the future, not really immediate. So I am a little weary about that.
Scatliff says students typically start to apply for jobs around the end of September and beginning of October. The UCF Career Services website says they offer students help with their resumes and resources for students to find jobs after graduation. In Orlando, Skylar Williamson, The Charge on Air.
Students can attend career expos and intern pursuits on campus throughout the year. Check out The Charge for more information on the ever-changing job market.
It's still pretty humid out there, and we've seen a lot of rain these past few days.
Tell me about it. It's been raining cats, dogs, horses, frogs.
All right, that's enough. Victoria, can you please tell us, will we be needing any umbrellas today?
Yeah, you should probably leave the weather to me, Nico. Let's take a look at today's current conditions. So currently right now we have 78 degrees, a humidity of 81%, winds are moving northeast at 11 miles per hour. Our chance of rain is 99, so definitely pack those umbrellas and prepare for some heavy rain today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for that update, Victoria. Coming up next, the Sunrise Movement at UCF campaigns against ICE on campus.
Plus, it's Eczema Awareness Month, and my co-anchor, Camila Escobar, tells us how this affects a UCF student.
Florida may never look the same again. Everyday issues like pollution, climate change, sea level rise, they threaten the beautiful nature here in our backyard. But here at UCF, you personally can receive funding to make a change. Students of all backgrounds are encouraged to apply for the Gulf Scholars Program. Funded by a grant from the National Academies of Sciences, this program prepares future leaders to solve some of the toughest issues our environment will face, all through team-based research and education right here at UCF. Participating students can receive mentorship from faculty in multiple fields, paid travel, and the chance to make up to $5,000 per year for each year in the program. Plus, Gulf scholars get the chance to go on unique adventures around Florida's Gulf Coast, showing them exactly why it should be protected up close. Undergraduate students in any major can apply at gulfscholars.research.ucf.edu.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Dad! Okay, here we go, throw it! Yeah.
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Nice.
With drastic changes to immigration laws in the past 6 months, a group of students are taking matters into their own hands to support those on campus affected by U.S. immigration policies. Charge and Air reporter Victoria Pera tells us about their mission.
State Governor Ron DeSantis directed Florida law enforcement last February to enter an arrangement with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement under the 287G agreement. This agreement allows state officers to perform immigration and enforcement duties. In April, the UCF Police Department signed this agreement, and now campus police are allowed to carry out immigration enforcement. One group on campus, the Sunrise Movement at UCF, has chosen to fight back this agreement with a campaign offered to international students affected by this current immigration policy. Sunrise coordinator Angelina Orengo says this campaign is called the Defense Hub and explains how it calls for an end to the ICE agreement with UCF.
So UCF Sunrise was really instrumental in building out a new organization called the Defense Hub. In the Defense Hub, their main mission is not only to fight back against the 287G agreement and demand that UCF PD end the agreement entirely. They also do research in the issue. They give resources to people who know somebody that has been detained by ICE and or deported.
UCF has over 5,000 international students enrolled as of late. All of these students are vulnerable to be affected by the university's current ICE agreement.
This is a pavilion in the UCF Arboretum where a lot of the campaign planning is done, but it's also a quiet space where campaign coordinator Ethan Temple says all UCF students are welcome to bring their ideas to the table.
We accept anybody, honestly, like anybody of different beliefs, faiths, any issues that you may have, just walk in because we're fighting for everybody here.
As the future of UCF's international students hang in the balance, the Sunrise Movement at UCF hopes to inspire students to take action and fight back. In Orlando, Victoria Pera, The Charge on Air.
For more information about the Sunrise Movement at UCF or their future campaigns, you can find them on their Instagram at UCF Sunrise.
It's Eczema Awareness Month, and for some students, it's more than just dry skin. It's a daily battle. I had the opportunity of speaking to students and experts to tell us why.
Florida's fall weather might be cooling down, but for some, their skin is still feeling the burn. For UCF student Camila Bernal, managing eczema means a daily routine of care. She was diagnosed earlier this year and says a flare-up can feel like her hands are on fire, leaving them dry, cracked, and painful to the touch. She says even simple tasks like washing dishes have become too difficult to handle.
So the main thing that led me to wanting to quit was mainly just the eczema gets kind of unbearable at some points. And it also gets in the way of me doing my job because I can't really wash dishes too much, but it's still part of my job. So I have to choose like whether to be in pain or to do my job.
Most UCF students wouldn't think twice about using a hand sanitizer such as this one, but for students like Bernal, a tiny pump like this can create big consequences. Experts at UCF say using unscented products such as this one can help keep your skin safe and clean.
Dr. Naveed Sami is a UCF dermatologist, and he says there are several types of eczema, some genetic like endogenous dermatitis, and others like exogenous dermatitis that is caused by temperature changes or repeated contact with irritants such as soap or sanitizers. He also adds that using products that take care of our skin isn't just about comfort, it's about respecting an organ that does more than we think.
I think the basic thing is to understand the skin is a very resilient organ, but we shouldn't take it for granted. Try to take care of it from being very young, and because this is something that's going to pay dividends later.
Dr. Sami adds that our skin's natural barrier acts like armor, and using gentle, fragrance-free products can help keep the defense strong, especially during the colder months when dryness and irritation are at their worst. In Orlando, Camila Escobar, The Charge on Air.
So while the cooler weather might bring relief for some, for others, it's a reminder that healthy skincare takes more than just lotion. It takes awareness, patience, and the right products.
The University of Central Florida is making history, becoming the first university in the country to offer a master's degree specifically focused on financial technology or fintech. Charge on Air reporter Christy St. Ville tells us more.
As the finance industry continues to evolve, UCF is stepping ahead of the curve by preparing students for a career at the intersection of finance and technological innovations.
Crystal Perinsky, co-director of UCF's FinTech program, says the idea emerged from growing concerns about AI taking people's jobs. So instead of waiting on the sidelines, the College of Business and the College of Engineering and Computer Science teamed up to create the program, responding to the rising industry demand and a shared goal of helping students succeed in a competitive job market. He says that FinTech is very diverse and a very unique opportunity that students should take advantage of because it will set them apart in the market.
Fintech goes everywhere right now. It's very universal. I think that even they don't need to start in a fintech company. All traditional, actually, legacy financial institutions, accounting firms, all of them want to build this expertise in the house.
Now, in its third year, the FinTech program has expanded to include an undergraduate minor and certificate, giving undergraduate students an advantage and a pathway into the growing field. Jacqueline DeVelder, a current master's student and economics graduate from the University of Florida, says the program stood out for its technical edge and versatility across industries.
A lot of money. People are investing in large fintech, startups. Like that is, I would say most of the people in my program that I've talked to, if they could do anything, it would be start a startup.
DeVelder encourages undergrads to explore fintech even if they're only slightly interested. She says fintech isn't the end goal, it's the means to the end. Perinsky says this is only the beginning for the program. They are developing AI application courses and a specific fintech class for undergraduates, while also planning to expand their master's program. In Orlando, Christy St. Ville, The Charge on Air.
For more information on the program, visit ucf.edu/degree/fintech-ms/.
Thinking about next week's weather, we will tell you everything you need to know about the 5-day forecast.
Plus, UCF women's volleyball lost against number 11 TCU on Thursday. Don't go anywhere. The Charge on Air will be right back.
Florida may never look the same again. Everyday issues like pollution, climate change, sea level rise, they threaten the beautiful nature here in our backyard. But here at UCF, you personally can receive funding to make a change. Students of all backgrounds are encouraged to apply for the Gulf Scholars Program. Funded by a grant from the National Academies of Sciences, this program prepares future leaders to solve some of the toughest issues our environment will face, all through team-based research and education right here at UCF. Participating students can receive mentorship from faculty in multiple fields, paid travel, and the chance to make up to $5,000 per year for each year in the program. Plus, Gulf Scholars get the chance to go on unique adventures around Florida's Gulf Coast, showing them exactly why it should be protected up close. Undergraduate students in any major can apply at gulfscholars.research.ucf.edu.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best.
those 9 months were also 273 days of planning. What about your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. And let's not forget those barbecues you plan in detail for your family and your more vegetarian by the day best friends. That surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Welcome back, everyone.
It's time to check in with student meteorologist Agustin Iturriaga from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University for a look at the national forecast.
Good afternoon, UCF. Remnants of Hurricane Priscilla is likely to bring some pretty heavy rain and flooding into the desert southwest that aren't really prone to flooding this time of year. Back here close to home, strong onshore flow due to a developing low pressure system, plus the king tides and high tide, more coastal flooding concerns along the east coast. That same low pressure system will start to move to the north, bringing some pretty heavy rain into the Carolina coastline, especially Hatteras Island that's been dealing with this nonstop coastal flooding from Imelda, Humberto, Erin. This same storm system will start to move north, bring some pretty heavy rain into the northeast, gusty downpours as well with it. Along this with this storm system, some cooler air will start to sneak into the U.S. East Coast. For more on your local weather, let's take it back to the studio.
Thank you, Agustin. What do you think, Nick? Should I bring my umbrella to campus next week?
I don't know about you, but I will bring my hoodie just in case.
Let's check in with student reporter Victoria Pera to see our local forecast.
All right, Knights, let's take a look at some temperatures across Central Florida today. All right, in Gainesville, we have 72 degrees, Palm Coast 77, Leesburg 77, Winter Haven 85, Tampa 83, Melbourne 79, and at home in Orlando, we have 80 degrees. Now let's take a step back and look at today's 5-day weather forecast. So Saturday, we have high 79, low 70, Sunday, high 79, low 64, Monday, high 80, we have a low 65%. Tuesday, a high of 81, a low of 65. Wednesday, we have a high of 80 and a low of 64. Tomorrow, we have a 90% chance of rain. Now, that's the most out of all the other days, so please be careful, bring your umbrella, and prepare for some showers. On Monday, we also have a 20%, and Tuesday, 15. Now, it looks like we won't have exactly a super dry week ahead, but we can always hope for some better temperatures in the future. Back to you guys at the desk.
Stay tuned to hear about what happened during the women's volleyball match last night.
Plus, UCF football travels to Cincinnati to take on the Bearcats.
UCF Sports comes up after this.
Florida may never look the same again. Everyday issues like pollution, climate change, sea level rise, they threaten the beautiful nature here in our backyard. But here at UCF, you personally can receive funding to make a change. Students of all backgrounds are encouraged to apply for the Gulf Scholars Program. Funded by a grant from the National Academies of Sciences, this program prepares future leaders to solve some of the toughest issues our environment will face, all through team-based research and education right here at UCF. Participating students can receive mentorship from faculty in multiple fields, paid travel, and the chance to make up to $5,000 per year for each year in the program. Plus, Gulf Scholars get the chance to go on unique adventures around Florida's Gulf Coast, showing them exactly why it should be protected up close. Undergraduate students in any major can apply at gulfscholars.research.ucf.edu.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner!
Go. Excellent. Soccer is fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there. We're the family. We're the family. Help us. Yeah! Oh, I thought you were on my team. Wait, I don't know.
Good afternoon, Knights. My name is Lukas Miller, and I'm here to bring you the latest UCF sports updates. Let's take a look at what's going on. Last night, our women's volleyball team took a tough loss at home. The Knights turned into the Citronauts as they faced the number 11 nationally ranked TCU Horned Frogs in their second space game of the season. Although having home court advantage, UCF were the underdogs against TCU. The Citronauts made every set close, but unfortunately came up short and lost in 4 sets. However, Nitro, Citronaut, and the home crowd really showed up for the girls, nearly packing out the venue and made the Horned Frogs really hear it. Head coach Matt Botsford said that he thinks his team is right at the horizon to become the team that they need to be.
But we still are trying to find the appropriate balance, and we're close. We're always going to be a more higher team because of the chances we take. A lot to take away from it, and we'll use that hopefully to prepare ourselves even better for West Virginia.
Lost, the Citronauts had fought hard to the very end. Our girls face the West Virginia Mountaineers this Sunday, October 12th at home, so be sure to pop out, Knights. The UCF women's golf team swung into their first win of the season in Illinois. The Knights took first place at the Illinois Invitational, finishing 17 under. Sophomore Mila Joreen led the team and won the individual first at 11 under. Freshman Pimpisa Sandwich Sithum tied for 5th. UCF finished 5 shots ahead of Oklahoma State. The Knights are back in action October 24th through the 26th. UCF football looks to avoid repeating history tomorrow against Cincinnati on the road. In 2023 and 2024, the Knights began with a 3-win game-winning streak, then lost 5 in a row each season. UCF is in familiar territory, dropping its last 2 after opening the season with 3 straight wins. That's our sports recap for this week. Stay tuned for more UCF sports updates in the next newscast. Now back to Camila and Nicolas.
That's our time for right now. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on thechargenews.com.
We'll leave you with a live shot of International Drive, and stay tuned after the show to see an episode of The Golf at Night, a podcast produced by the UCF Golf Scholars Program.
Thanks for watching. Adios, Knights.
Hi there, I'm Leanne, the graduate teaching assistant for the UCF Golf Scholars Program, and I'm really happy to welcome you to the second season of the UCF Golf Scholars podcast. This season is titled The Golf at Night. I am here with our second cohort of Golf Scholars, Stasia, Mikkel, Maggie, and Tanisha, and they're going to be telling you a little bit about this season's podcast, what they learned, why you guys should listen, and all that great stuff.
So I'm a digital media major, so at first it might be kind of confusing why I'm in a Golf Scholars program, but when I saw the email that they sent to us about whether we would like to join the Golf Scholars program or not, I've always been someone who's cared about the environment. I've grown up in around the Gulf area, Florida, almost my entire life. And to me, it's very important that we preserve the environment, we preserve nature, especially in the face of all these challenges that are happening, rising sea levels, rising temperatures, policy changing around the Gulf Coast. I think it's very important to show people why it's important that we fight to preserve and protect the Gulf Coast that we live on.
For me, I joined the Gulf Scholar Program because I believe in every opportunity that's given to you, you should take it. Even though I am a communication major, this was an opportunity I saw. And as somebody who is very big on the environment, I saw this opportunity and I just took it.
My major has nothing to do with the environment. I'm a film major, so I write movies, I direct movies. But when I received an email about joining the Gulf Scholars, I thought, you know what, this is something different. That sounds nice. So I joined so I can see the beauty that the world has, specifically the beauty of the ocean. And as a as a film major, I do feel a sense of responsibility to use my gift that I was given to showcase the negative impact us humans have on our ecosystem. Because we get one planet. We don't get to go to Mars. Okay, we're not going anytime soon. So we get one planet, we need to start treating it better.
I think this Gulf Scholar Program is something really special, especially this project. The Gulf Coast is such a big part of the East Coast. There's multiple states aligning it. There's so many river streams from different states all the way up to Minnesota that feeds into the Gulf. And so it really is a big part of the East Coast of America. And I think taking this project and all of our different majors and trying to communicate the importance of the Gulf and the challenges that we face in the Gulf is a really special project.
What do you hope people take away from listening to this podcast?
First of all, just to show what the Gulf Coast is like. We went to a lot of different places on the Gulf Coast. We've seen what areas up around Panhandle are like, areas closer or further down. I think most of all, just to see that it's worth protecting, and then there are challenges to it. Like we've spoken to people down there, we've seen what the effects of hurricanes, the impacts they've had. We've seen the impacts of red tide and so on. And we've seen what people are doing to try and help that, prevent that, and how people are living and adapting to that. And we've talked to a lot of people, experts, and heard their opinions about what's happening with the Gulf Coast, about all the good and bad things that are happening to it. And yeah, I just think it's very important for people to just see that and take away that, first of all, they can make an impact. And second of all, there needs to be some sort of voice for change, because there are a lot of things that need to be changed, a lot of things that need to be said. And it's important people hear that and spread that.
For me, I hope people take away of how the Gulf Scholar impact many communities around it, very small communities, very big communities, and also take how we could do better people the community.
What I really hope people take away from the Gulf Scholars Program and this podcast is there are people in this world who do care about our ecosystem, about the earth. And, you know, just one person can make a really big impact. And just imagine what 1,000 people's impact can have on the planet.
Watching our group's passion grow over the semester and then going to different communities, small and big, and hearing their passion about the Gulf and protecting it and living in it was really something special. And I hope we can try to communicate that passion to let others grow as well.
As students who live here in Florida, what kind of changes do you want to see to benefit your local environment?
I think it's definitely, there are a lot of close-knit communities there. So I think one thing I'd love to see is, first of all, more support for them, both from people and the government, just having more resources for people to have in case of, like, let's say hurricanes. Hurricanes are something that can very heavily impact people on the Gulf Coast. More resources for them to, like, help animals, like sea turtles. And then also for people to, sea level rise is also an issue there. And of course, warmer temperatures and everything. So having resources for people to take or use like let's say they need to move or they need to fix some water damage, etc. People are going to need to adapt very much along those areas, and I feel like it's important to remember the community we have there, and we make sure we don't leave them behind.
I do agree with Miguel. I do feel like the government should help like the communities over there, even the small communities, because sometimes they don't have the best resources when it comes to like communication about like, hey, a big hurricane is coming, we need to evacuate. So I think like the government should help out those communities, but not only them, but also the animals as well, having different resources. But it should not only be the government. I also feel like it should be other communities as well, helping each other out. For example, like this organization can go to the beach and like do a beach cleanup day. So I do feel like no matter big or small, everybody should be helping out one way or another.
To go off what Tanisha was just saying about like cleaning up, like beach cleanups, there's a lot of trash, not just on the beach, but just everywhere. Trash is in our neighbors' yards, trash is on our school's campus. Yes, there are places that implement recycling bins and that have scattered trash cans, but people are selfish, people are lazy. So hopefully this can show, or hopefully this podcast will be able to help people see how just one wrapper of a candy can completely destroy an entire ecosystem.
I think being from Central Florida, we can see that community is what is really important. This isn't just a two-party issue or belief system. We're all in this together. And even though we may be far from the Gulf, we still feel the effects of the Gulf, and the Gulf feels effects from us, just like the trash from us going and leading into the Gulf. So it really is important that we're all in this together, we're working together, and we're trying to fix this together. I think this season's going to be really interesting because we're going into a unique topic of the Gulf at night, and a lot of people don't see or know what's happening at night. So it's kind of unraveling secrets that we may not know, or unraveling secrets of what happened during the daytime that the Gulf sees at night. So I think it can be a really interesting topic for this season.
You guys are going to love it.
It's going to be amazing.
This is going to be the first visual podcast, so hopefully you guys will be able to see the impact, not just hear about the impact.
Okay, guys, I think that's pretty good. Listeners, hit next. Listen to the next episode. We'll see you there. Bye-bye.